Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I want to show you guys how to roll race and utilize the 8-speed automatic transmission in all the M cars, all the latest M cars. This is my 2024 BMW M2. So I have the 8-speed Steptronic automatic transmission and these paddle shifters right here. So let's get into it. All right guys, got you all set up on the POV hat. Let's get going here. So I recommend, unless you guys are diehard manual guys, I definitely recommend getting the automatic transmission in the M cars. I understand manuals are kind of getting more and more phased out. You kind of want to, you know, enjoy it while it's still here, and I get it. But this transmission is so smart that it makes you not even want a manual. And not only that, the performance benefit to this transmission is incredible. So right now, just so you guys know, you can see right there, we have the gear indicator, which is in second gear, as you guys can see there, third gear, and it shows that we're in drive, we're not in sequential mode. And then you can see we have the first shift setting eliminated or illuminated. So if we click this button here, we can go to the second shift setting and then the third shift setting, okay? So what that means is the first setting is a very soft, smooth shifting transmission. It shifts early. The second setting is a little bit more sporty. It shifts a little bit more snappy and it shifts a little later in the RPM band. And the third setting is the most sporty shift setting, and that's the one that shifts a little bit later. And it really just bangs off those shifts. It does aggressive downshifts. It lurches the car forward when it shifts because it just bangs that gear so hard. Second gear, when it shifts under wide open throttle, it's still a smooth shift. Under the third setting, it's just banging in that gear. So the nice thing about this 8-speed Steptronic transmission is that you have the flexibility to go full aggressive or to have it be buttery smooth. So you get the best of both worlds with this transmission. So let me show you guys how it is in the first shift setting. All right, so I'm putting my foot down just a little bit. Okay. Still shifts very fast. It's a little bit more hesitant to give downshifts. It's not as snappy and crazy, right? And when you take off from a stop, it's gonna shift early. So let's go to setting number 3, or excuse me, setting number 2. There we go. So now it's gonna kind of hold the gear a little bit longer. It's not gonna upshift into overdrive as quickly. We put our foot down, it's a little bit more eager to give downshifts. Definitely a lot more eager to give downshifts. Holds the gears a little longer, as you guys can see there. We're coming up to this stop up here, and I'll show you guys how it shifts coming from a stop, so you guys can kind of see the shift points. Obviously, the more you put down your throttle, the more it's gonna shift a little bit later, but this mode will have it be a little bit more snappy. So let me go ahead and show you guys that right now. So our first gear. Shifting a little later, shifting around like 3,000 RPM, still shifting super fast, amazing, right? And I'll do a little wide open throttle pull here for you guys. Okay, there's a stoplight up there, but we'll see if we can get a little shift in here, so you guys can see how it shifts under wide open throttle. Okay, still shifts very fast, but it's smooth at the same time. So not only is it fast, but it's smooth. Now let's go ahead and go into the third shift setting now, because this is gonna be the most aggressive setting. This is the one that's just gonna bang off those shifts. So if you're racing, you wanna make sure you're in the third shift setting, okay? And you wanna be in drive. You don't wanna be in manual mode trying to race, where you're hitting the rev limiter, you're short shifting. Don't add driver error into an automatic. You get an automatic because you want the computer to shift it super fast and all that. You don't wanna be manually shifting an automatic. That's just not smart. We're gonna take off a little normally, you know, shifting later in the RPM band, still shifting super fast, right? Holding gears, you can see it's holding gears a little bit. Now let me do one little wide open throttle pull here. Okay, so I think traction control was cutting it a little bit that time, which is why I didn't do a hard shift. So I gotta make sure traction control's all the way off. So let me go ahead and go into M2 mode here. So the traction control is cutting the power. It won't do the hard shift like it normally does in the third shift setting. So that was my fault for not turning it off. So I'll show you guys here. See, it did a really hard shift going into third. or not really a hard shift, but just a really fast, you know, a fast just punches into that gear. So now that you guys understand how the transmission works, how the shift settings and all that stuff works, I'm going to show you guys how to roll race the car correctly. Okay, so this is if you own an M car, they all should have the same process. You want to roll race it correctly. You don't want to be using the paddles or screwing yourself up. Okay, the only way you use the paddles is just to downshift to the right gear. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys real quick here. So put it in the proper mode. I have my M2 mode set up to where I can roll race in that mode, right? If not, just make sure everything, the engine's on sport and your traction is off. If you have, you know, traction, because you don't want to be roll racing if you have tires with no traction, because then you'll slide and hit something, you'll pull a Mustang. You don't want to do that. So make sure that you have traction, turn it off, right? So I'll go into M2 mode here, just like that. So right now I have my M2 mode set up to be in drive, right? But I can flip the shifter over into S, which is sequential. So that's like manual mode. So now it's locked into that gear. It won't automatically upshift and it won't automatically downshift. So what I like to do, again, you guys can do it however you want. What I like to do and what I found most effective is you go into manual mode, downshift to the right gear. So let's say we're doing a 40 roll. So let's go into second gear here. So now we're in second gear. And then once you honk the horn 3 times or count it down or however you want to do it, once you hit it, let me go through these bumps real quick. Ugh. Okay. Once you hit it, just pop the shifter into drive and just hold on and just floor it. Just go. So go like this. Okay, we're getting a little sideways there. But once you floor it, just pop it into drive and just let the transmission do its thing. This road is awful, by the way, so I apologize for taking you guys on this crappy road. But that's all you got to do. Another way to do it, which I do it sometimes if I'm holding the GoPro and I don't have 2 hands available, is you can have it in drive like it is now. And then once you get to the speed, let's say you're doing a 60 roll, once you get to 60, you'll want to downshift right before you honk it off. So what you'll do is you'll go, let's say you're doing, I don't know, 50 roll, right? Downshift. Now we're in second, honk it off, floor it. Car's getting a little wild there. Oh my gosh. This car is fast, guys. But that's another way you can do it too, because it's still in automatic mode, so it'll still automatically upshift for you. And I only do it that way just because my hands, I don't have 2 hands that are free on, you know, I don't have 2 hands that are free. So that's the only reason why I do it that mode. One thing I forgot to mention is that if you guys do it this way, you need to make sure that you downshift right before you honk it off, because if you stay in one gear for a while, it will automatically upshift if you wait too long. But if you have a factory car or whatever, just let the transmission do its thing. Don't add driver error into an automatic. You know, that's just, you shouldn't do that. Let's see if we can get a little wild on this corner here. This car gets some decent traction though. It's not bad. Those Michelins, I have almost 7,000 miles on the Michelins, but they're holding up okay so far. As far as paddle shifters are concerned, if you hold down the downshift paddle or the left paddle, it will downshift to the lowest possible gear. And then if you hold the upshift paddle, which is on the right, it will take itself out of sequential or manual mode. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.